Hi, my name is Ron Layman. I'm from the Faux School in Frederick, Maryland, where I teach decorative painting workshops and complete commission projects for clients all around the world. If you're interested in courses or commissioning me, please go to the link in the description below, thefauxschool.com. Click on it and it'll find a whole list of all the course descriptions, dates, everything you need to know, as well as contact information on to commission me for a project. While you're down that way in the description area, if you don't mind, hit that subscription button. That will notify you when new videos become available, and if you don't mind, hit the like button while you're down there as well, so I know that you like what I'm creating. Today is going to be something of a little different. We're going to be focusing mainly on protective top coats and sealers for lime-based plasters. Not just wax, but well, there's more than wax. In particularly from the folks at Firmolux. They have a great line of top coats and sealers for their lime-based products, and we're going to go through all four of them here in just a little while. So let's see. We're going to work with two plasters, the Grisello and Marmorino, because that's the top two selling products for them. And again, they have four top coats. The first we're going to start with is called Savon de Marseille, which is a soap sealer from the Marseille region. And that's what they're known for down in that area. They make some of the best soaps in the world. And it's just a beautiful process that's been going on for centuries. But they've been making soap sealers for a long time, and I love it on Marmorino. I think it gives the Marmorino a beautiful luster that's just warm and inviting, and it gives it that layer of protection. So what it is, it's straight soap. There's the product. What I like about it, they don't spend money on fancy labels, they spend money on good quality product. All right, so how do I open this? It's been a minute. There we go. Pull it off. Plastic container, which is great. Has a, I mean, it smells like soap. It just smells like, oh, I don't know how to describe it. It's gorgeous. So that's a great thing, because when you're working in a closed space, confined space, or people that are sensitive to particular scents, this is a wonderful product. I would highly suggest this for interior use only. If you put it outside, you're going to keep reapplying, because it will deteriorate outside under you know, due to the climate, weather, rain, snow, all that kind of stuff. But inside, don't worry about it. Put it on, you'll polish it to a beautiful luster, and that's it. That's what it looks like. So it's, okay, but now let's start with our Grisello. So the Grisello, now if you happen to stumble across this video and you're not familiar with the other videos up to the traditional application of Grisello or Marmorino, I'll make sure I put links to those as well. Because right now we're not focusing on how to do plaster technique, we're talking about the differences between top coats. All right, so this is the Grisello. Left over from a job I just finished down in Memphis, okay? I didn't burnish this one up. There it is, you kind of see it. Yeah, there. Highly reflective. Now, Grisello does not need a top coat. You can leave it with a natural look, like so. But it will stain, so that's why we want to seal it. And all these different sealers or top coats, waxes, all do something totally different. That's why we're going to go through them. So, this is a neat consistency. You could trowel it on, but as you trowel it, it gets warm, and then it liquefies and just becomes becomes very hard to control. I don't care to use a sponge or a rag with this one. I just don't care. I don't like the way it worked. That doesn't mean you can't do it, but I like to take a brush and try to bristle brush. And mainly it's because the sponge and a rag, it gets just too wet, liquid, it goes all over the place. But anyway, I'll brush it on. Crisscross, cross hatch, 100%. Don't worry about how you see the brush marks. We'll take care of that in a second. And what I'm doing is, I know this is getting in there nice. See how it richens that color up because it's hydrating that plaster? What's nice is if you're working in a space, you can have somebody show them how to put it on like this. Use a 3-inch brush, nothing too crazy, too big. And then the other person can go behind and do the next step. And you just let it sit on for a little bit. Let it get in there, hydrate it. You know it's on. Don't put it on too thick, because take long, you'll trap the moisture in the surface, and it's going to take a lot longer to dry out. And you never want to apply this to a damp plaster. Make sure that plaster dries overnight before you put it on. And you can put on as many coats as you want. I've noticed with Grisello, 1 coat is sufficient. Marmorino, 2 coats. But we're going to show you both. And the main reason, like, with not a rag or a sponge, is because it's not thin enough, so it leaves a little bit of material. Well, it just doesn't massage in correctly. So now I'm going to take my trowel, clean trowel, and then I'm going to simply come into it and trowel off any excess. So it's pulling some off, that way get rid of all those brush marks. It's going to help embed it into the plaster a little bit more, making sure it's in there. And there we go. Alright, let's set this one off to dry. Let's mark this first. Soap. To dry. It's going to take a bit. See, here it's already ready, kind of. Here it's definitely not. But our Marmorino. This is something I left over from a small restaurant I just did. This beautiful Grecian blue. Love it. Same thing. Get our brush. Put it on, just like so. But the Marmorino is very dry. It will soak this in, and that's why sometimes a second coat is very helpful. That way you get a nice even looking finish, meaning it might really suck some of it in some areas. In some areas it might not absorb it as much, so therefore you're going to get an inconsistency in its luster. So the first coat's really going to seal it. The second coat's going to give you that full range, because these things don't just seal, they actually add a level of decoration or change it as well. And you would do that, put your first coat on, take the trowel, remove it, any excess. Then you're going to do the second coat the same way. Brush it on, trowel it, let it sit, and then we buff it with a soft rag. Finish with that. Let's get our trowel. See, it's a little cloudy, so we know it's dry when it's crystal clear. Now we're going to let that sit to the side as well, because it's going to take a while to dry up to the point we can, what do you call it? Polish. Mark it so I don't forget. Alright, so that's our soap. Our Savon de Marseille. We're going to run out of room here with all these boards. Okay, the next one, let's go to the Decor wax. Back to the Grisello. Where's our Decor wax? Here it is. Decor wax is a very, very liquid. Ugh. That's me fighting to open it up. All right, this is a real, this is straight up liquid. Okay, so the brush isn't going to be our friend right now. It's too thin for the brush for a brush. So what we're going to do is take a sponge, and I like to use my French sponge because they're made in France. And I'm going to load it with some water, hydrating a sponge. I'm going to wring it out because I don't want any water dripping down my surface. I want to use a damp sponge. The reason I'm using a damp sponge is because if I put the dry sponge into the Decor wax, it's going to put a little bit, and then I'll have to get more. the sponge becomes more hydrated and I put more on. So what happens is I'm going to fill this thing full of wax, of the Decor wax, and it's going to get full of it. I'm going to be wasting a lot of it. Where I have a damp sponge, it hydrates the product, or hydrates the sponge, I'm not using that much. Okay, so I'm just going to put it in. I take and pull the excess off a little bit, put it on the surface, and massage it in. Always in a circular pattern. This is a water-based product. It's a water-based wax. So you have waxes that are solvent-based, you have mineral-based, you have all kinds of different bases, but this is a synthetic wax. Okay, that's all we have to do with that. Make sure you don't leave any, just try to be real gentle. Don't leave a whole lot of swirl marks from your sponge. Whoops, let's mark you. Decor. And set it off to the side to dry. Get our Marmorino. Since I have my pen in my hand, I'm just going to mark it. Save some time. Decor. Same thing. Load our sponge. Now somebody's going to go, why couldn't you just put it in a spray bottle and spray it? It's not that thin. It doesn't really work that way. You're going to use a lot more material. See, you can instantly, so the Grisello is a very slick surface, highly reflective. It's almost like a sheet of glass when you put it on a traditional way. Marmorino is more porous. Now you can still get it to burnish to a nice luster, but not as high gloss as that Grisello. So it's just more porous. So see how fast it's absorbing the Decor wax. Here's where I just put it on, see how dark it is, see it's lightening up. And what I noticed about the Decor wax, and we'll show you at the end, but it's also one of the, if you're trying to stay true to the original color, meaning some of these most of these products will change the final appearance of the plaster to a degree. Decor wax is the one that really doesn't change it. It leaves it as natural looking, or it's just like when you put it on. Can't use my words today. So, see, I mean, if you can tell, that's where the plaster was earlier. That's dry plaster. Here's damp, and it's still damp. I mean, this stuff sucks in really quick. It's interesting. And when we get to the end, we're going to compare all the finishes so you can really see what they do. All right, what do we have next? Beeswax. Good old beeswax. Now, the beeswax, I almost grabbed the wrong board. The beeswax is a liquid product. You can use the sponge. For some reason, I've had better luck with it with a rag. The sponge tends to leave a swirl pattern, or the pattern of the sponge. So I don't really like that. Give it a little shake. Always stir these things up. Never like shake them up too much. You're gonna get air bubbles in them, and just take a little time, stir them up. The beeswax though is fantastic. They'll say 1 to 2 coats. I've noticed the same thing on Grisello. I like it with 1 coat. Marmorino 2 coats because it absorbs it. Now again, I'm not going to get too crazy with these, meaning there's a lot more we can do with these. I'm just introducing you to the various different top sealers, top coats, waxes. And then I'm going to do some more in-depth videos of what you can really do to change them, meaning put pigment in them, put waxes, or change the color with pigments, micas, layers, all kinds of wild things. So the beeswax, I just like it with a rag. And again, I won't put it in a spray can, it's just too thick. And just massage it in. A little goes a long way. That's way too much. I just put it on, so now I got to work really hard to get it moved around. See how it just goes in there and it's like massaging it in. Has no odor at all. None whatsoever. That's what I like about all their products, that is the lack of odor. I get a lot of jobs where government facilities, in the offices and the museums, and when you submit your material safety data sheets, certain products you can't get on property because they're just too they just don't comply. I did some work at the IMF, International Monetary Fund, where we put Marmorino on the walls, and the wax from the there wasn't Firmolux, it was another company. I don't think they're around anymore. They didn't survive the recession. But their wax was solvent-based wax, and we couldn't get it on there. And at the time, there weren't too many people out there with various products, so it was a little bit of a hunt to find a wax that was compliant. Pen, Beeswax. But yeah, so I'm going to show you what, once we get to that point, you'll see the difference. Right now, we're just getting them together. Marmorino. I just always start in a corner, work my way out, and always in the circles. Circular pattern. When you're and if you see color coming off, it's not a big deal. It's going to happen. You're rubbing the surface. It's going to pull some of the color. Don't panic. The biggest thing is just don't overwork it. It's not really pulling the color off. It's not removing the plaster. It's just some of the colors leaching back into the rag. And again, don't go too crazy, meaning too heavy. We don't want to leave a lot of product on the surface, because it does start to set up to a degree. You're putting it on and it's going in, and you might be hydrated enough that you're going to start building a film or layers on the surface, and that's where you're going to see some swirl marks from your rag. Just take your time, put it on. Oh, and when it comes to rag, always get a color-free, lint-free. No, you don't want any lint getting stuck in these top coats, because then you're going to be fighting to get them out. Or you're not fighting, but you're going to be working harder. So, and you don't want color-free. You want just a regular lint-free, color-free rag. That way, you never know if, like, you have an old T-shirt, the dye might go into this plaster and really be a problem for you. Always safe, better safe than sorry. All right, now the last one is the spatula wax, and you've seen me, if you follow me, you've seen me use this often. I didn't know they had some of these other waxes, and when they told me, I was ecstatic, especially about the soap. Love the soap wax, or soap sealer. So this one, we need our trowel. It's a paste wax, but it's also not a solvent base, so it doesn't have any harsh odors. It's a nice, mild, very nice, pleasant smelling product to work with. Get some put on your trowel. I'm going to trowel it on. See how it really darkens that plaster up? It's a paste, so if brushing it doesn't work, rags don't really work. Okay, that's it for that. On, don't put it on thick. Put it on too thick, dries cloudy. It just dries cloudy. You don't want it. Don't want that. No, don't want it. Do the same thing with the Marmorino. Okay. Look how darkens that up, boy. Wax will always darken your plaster finish, about 20 to 40% depending on the color of the plaster. Okay, that's it. We're going to let these dry. We're going to come back, polish them up, and then show you the final product. See you in just a little bit. Okay, so all the top coats have appeared to have dried, so let's get started. Here's the soap on the Grisello to start with. First thing I want to point out is where the tape is right here. There's no sealer here. I didn't put much out there. So the soap did not change the final appearance of the finish. Like spatula wax will darken it up about 20%, sometimes darker. So I'm just going to take a flat rag, soft rag, clean rag, again, no lint, no coloring, we want it, and fold it flat, and just lightly go over it. And just polish it up to a nice soft luster. This is not going to get super glossy. It gets to a gloss, but not a like super high gloss. So let's take a look at that. See the reflection? If I put it this way, yeah, you can see my face there. So yeah, it still gets it's got all the high reflective qualities of that glass-like Marmorino, but it has a different feel to it, meaning the wax is thicker, so therefore it's going to leave more material on the surface. The soap is thinner. Now if you put more coats on, it's going to feel thicker, start to get that, I don't want to say plastic feel, but it's going to start, the more you put on, the thicker it gets. So this has a very natural feel to it. But the biggest takeaway is you're protected and it doesn't change the overall color of the plaster. Marmorino. So again, look at the tape where the plaster is, and you look at the plaster itself, not much of a difference in color. So that's a really good one. A lot of times people want that protection, but the waxes will change the final color. It darkens it up. And that's it. Probably could have put a second coat on this one, but for right now I don't think it's too bad. So look at the luster. So it doesn't have that, it has a reflection, but it's not a super high shine, it's just a soft luster. Like bedrooms, I could see this in bedrooms where you want that warmth, but you have just a little bit of a glow. Again, you don't need to seal these plasters, but it prevents them from staining. So in a kitchen or bathroom, and you can put these in a bathroom, won't hurt anything. But in some rooms you don't want that super high gloss, like living spaces or your bedrooms. You want that warm glow. You want that warm feeling. Sometimes the high gloss finishes are too cold because they reflect so much light. Okay, next we have Decor wax. This is the water-based product, water-based wax. Here it is over at Grisello. Get a fresh rag. Same thing. You can, again, notice it doesn't change the appearance or darken the color up at all. Polish is very easy, no effort at all. So far I would say, as far as polishing goes, by hand polishing, this is the easiest one to work with. Wow. Feels great. Doesn't build up real heavy. Very nice. Bring it in close. Look at that shine. So look here. The only difference you're going to tell is there's no shine on this plaster because it doesn't have the seal on it, so therefore it's not going to shine. But look at that. Okay, so it's a little shinier than the soap. So there's your Decor wax on Grisello. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's put you here. Decor wax on Marmorino. Definitely needs a second coat. We're going to just go with it with one and see what she looks like. Yeah, it's polishing up. I wouldn't say it definitely needs a second coat, but it wouldn't hurt it. Oh, no, I like this. Very soft, very natural. I'm going to show it to you this way. Look at that. Just a nice soft sheen. A little shinier than the soap. A lot shinier than the soap. But doesn't have a big film on it. And you can see some slight blotching. Not really. That's more the texture. Okay. No, I stand correct. I thought some of these areas looked a little blotchy because the sealer wasn't built up. It's not. It's more that I have a little bit of texture on this. Let's see then. Look here. Again, it's just the difference in sheen. But if you really, when I turn it that way, you don't see the shine. Look at that. There's no difference in color. So the Decor wax is very true to the color. Okay. No color change. So the first two don't change the color of the plaster at all. Where are we at here? What's next? Beeswax. Behind me. Let's take a look at it before we polish it. There's the beeswax. Look at that. No change in color at all. Gotta love it. Soft rag. Polish is super easy. That's all there is to it. Now let's look at it up close. Look at that. This is my reflection. Yeah, beautiful. Doesn't change the color. Not a lot of buildup. But that's beeswax, so you know. The biggest thing is, what's the difference between them? It's really going to be a personal preference on a lot of this. So there's the Marmorino with beeswax. On this one, I have a feeling we definitely need 2 coats of beeswax. Let's see what happens when we polish it. Nope, I stand corrected. Good. I've only used the beeswax a couple times on samples. I haven't put it on a project yet because I don't have enough samples of it to show to clients. But now I'm have some here, I can start showing them. But yeah, look at that. I'd probably take a car buffer to this one. Just depends. Just to the buffer. Yeah, I think I would. Biggest thing is don't let them set too long. The longer you let these set, the harder they're going to be. I'd put the wax on or the sealer in the morning, buff it up that afternoon. So look at that. Look, doesn't change the color of the plaster, just gives it that shine and protection. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Okay. Last but not least is our spatula wax. Change our rag around and let's get into it. I've used this one a lot. But I'm going to say that when I did a lot of, I used to get the soap a lot. I didn't know they had this. Now that I know, when I do Marmorino, I love putting the Savon Marseille. I think it works better on Marmorino than the spatula wax. I just like the finished look. I don't like Marmorino being super shiny. I love that just soft luster, that warm glow. Look at that. There you go. Definitely your shine. Now, of course, it's going to be thicker. See, it's still a little darker here. But look, when I change it, so it slightly changed. There's no wax. There's wax. See how it does richen the color up a little bit. So that's the biggest, one of the biggest difference. And when you touch it, it does feel. Right now, it's still damp, or not damp, but it's a little not sticky. But you can definitely tell that there's a wax on it. Not as bad as those petroleum-based wax. This is one of the best waxes I've come across. Now let's find it with our Marmorino. Yeah, this is it. All right. Yep. But you remember, you don't have to seal these products. They're water resistant, they're just not stain resistant. The reason we're putting them on, one is to protect them from staining, and two, it does change them, decorate, it changes them. You know, they all get a different level of sheen, different feel. Marmorino, gosh, I need to get some more Marmorino work. I just love it. The look of cut limestone or polished limestone, look how pretty. Super shiny. So that's the Marmorino with a sheen. There we go. So let me try this. Here, Here's our wax. Here's our beeswax. Here's our Decor wax. And here is our Savon. So when you look at them all side by side, can you see them all four? It's too much. Let me do this. Okay, spatula wax here. Beeswax. Move my chair. Soap and Decor. So you can see all four right here. Check them out. So this really gives you a good idea. Here's your soap. No change in the color at all. Decor wax changed it a good bit. I'd say darkened it up about 10 to 15%. Beeswax darkened it up about 5 to 10%. And then here's your spatula wax, so it's much darker. So they get to see all four right here. All have a great sheen. Okay. So let's try this now. Can you see the sheen? Oh yeah, look at it. There's that mug all the way down. Let's get the arm out of the way. There you go. All right. Wonderful. That's finished. Now what do we got here? Oh. One fell. All right, what do we got? Here's our beeswax. Here's our spatula wax. Our Decor wax and our soap. Not much of a difference here. Pretty natural color. Natural, this is soap. It's very natural to the original color. Here's the beeswax. Didn't really change the color a whole lot. Here it's still a little damp. Here it's dry. The wax, it's a little shinier. Spatula wax definitely darkens it up, makes it the shiniest, and there's your Decor wax. All right, let's try to do that same thing again. Stick with me. Okay, there's your four. Decor wax, I'm sorry. Soap, Decor, bees, spatula. See the difference in colors? So it does change the difference and changes the color. And look at the sheens. There you go. Okay. All right. So if you have any questions, ask them down at the comment section below. I know that's a lot. I'm going to make some different videos showing each one independently, playing around with clears and then metallics and then pigmenting them for different things, for antique finishes, for the metallics. I'll do some modern finishes, fun stuff, and show you how all that works. But there you go. The various types of top coats from Firmolux. Ooh, let me get situated here. That's it. Before we go, if you could do me a favor, go down below, hit the subscribe button. That way you get notified when new videos come out. And if you don't mind, hit the like button while you're down there as well. Leave your questions and your comments down below. This is the first time I've done a video with all these different types of products, so hopefully it was very helpful and not too confusing. That's pretty much it. If you get a chance, you want to go to the website, look up the courses at thefauxschool.com, see the variety of programs that we offer. And if you're looking to commission me, you can find all the contact information there as well. And everything down in the description below, you'll find links to all the products and everything else you need. My name is Ron Layman. I'm from the Faux School in Frederick, Maryland. I want to thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.